Hi, in this video, we'll show you how to set the limits for your Somfy Sonesse 40 roller shade motor. To start, you'll need a 5 30-seconds Allen wrench and a Somfy test lead device, or a partner to help. Depending on the style of your roller shade, some of the instructions may vary. The written instructions are linked at the bottom of this video for you to follow along. The first thing to do is to find which adjuster controls the upper and lower directions of the shade, also called the upper and lower limits. You can identify them by looking at which side the motor is on and which way the fabric falls off the tube. If the fabric is off the back, with the motor on the left-hand side, or if your shade has the fabric off the front, with the motor on the right-hand side, then you'll need to change the wires so that the black and red wires are tied to each other, like so. This is called reversing the polarity. In our case, we don't have to reverse the polarity since our motor is on the right-hand side and the fabric falls off the back of the tube. So, the top adjuster will control our upper limit setting and the bottom adjuster controls the lower limit setting. We're ready to get started. We have to find the default limits of the motor before we can start adjusting anything. Unroll the fabric off the tube once or twice if needed, and then test with the wall switch by pressing up and down. When the shade automatically stops in the down position, that's the default lower limit. Now press up. When the shade automatically stops in the up position, that's the default upper limit setting. These may not be in the places you want them. If not, we'll show you how to adjust them by setting the upper and lower limit. Let's start with the upper limit. If your shade looks like scenario A, the upper limit is perfect, and you can move on to setting the lower limit. If your shade looks like scenario B, the shade stops too low and doesn't reach the upper limit. To fix this, increase the range by pressing up on the switch while using your Allen wrench to turn the upper limit adjuster counterclockwise so that the shade band reaches the correct position. Now you can move on to setting your lower limit. If the shades go past the desired upper limit, follow the steps for scenario C to fix it. In scenario C, the shade band runs past the upper limit. To fix this, decrease the range by pressing down on the switch, going several inches past the desired upper limit, and then stop the motor. Then, use your Allen wrench to turn the upper limit adjuster clockwise. You won't see the shade move, but every full turn of your wrench counts as approximately 1 inch of increase. Test by pressing up on the switch. If the upper limit still isn't correct, adjust by repeating the upper limit steps for either scenario B or C until it's perfect. Now we're going to set the lower limit. Press down on the switch to see where the default lower limit is. If your shade looks like scenario A, the lower limit is right where we want it and you're done. If your shade looks like scenario B, the shade stops too high and doesn't reach the lower limit. To fix this, increase the range by pressing down on the switch while using your Allen wrench to turn the lower limit adjuster counterclockwise until the shade band is in the right spot. Now you're done. If the shade band goes past the desired lower limit, follow the steps for scenario C to fix it. In scenario C, the shade band goes past the lower limit and needs to be raised. To fix this, decrease the range by pressing up on the switch, going several inches past the desired lower limit, and then stop the motor. Then, use your Allen wrench to turn the lower limit adjuster clockwise. Once again, this is the part where you won't see the shade move. But remember, every full turn of your wrench counts as approximately 1 inch of increase. Now test it by pressing down. If the shade is still too low or too high, repeat the lower limit steps for scenario B or C until it's in the right position. Just to make sure everything's in the right spot, test the shade by pressing up until it stops and pressing down until it stops. Hopefully, this video took the hard out of hardwired shades and you just set your limits. Visit us at Quiltcraft.com for more resources. See you next time.
So hold on, I'm gonna come in here and just screwdriver?
No, just use your hand. Just use your hand on the side. That seems more natural.
Oh.
But just, are you okay?
I was left.